The last session's name is Mapping the Realms of Memory, and it will be chaired by Madeleine, Cohen, please.
Okay, welcome back to our final session. I'll introduce our first speaker, Soonim Shin. She is a psychological counselor in Vienna. She has her MA in Education, Sociology, and Philosophy at Johannes Gutenberg Universität from Johannes Gutenberg Universität in Mainz. Some of her recent conference presentations that sound like they relate to our topic today. One paper is called 1938 bis 2018, eine Bilanz, österreichische Erinnerungskulturen, and that was a presentation at Lodz, organized by the Philological Faculty of the Lodz University. One other recent paper, Autobiografie von Exil, Widerstand, Verfolgung und Lagererfahrung at a conference in Vienna organized by the Austrian Federal President in 2017. Soonim's paper today is A Memory Capsule of Lodz, Jerusalem on Polish Soil, Israel J. Singer's novel, Brothers Ashkenasi. Please.
Thank you very much. A memory of capsule of which Jerusalem on Polish soil. It is styled J. Singer's novel Brothers Ashkenasi. In 1936, Israel Joshua Singer published his book, The Brothers Ashkenasi. Israel Joshua Singer was the older brother of Isaac Bashev Singer. Please, next. Here is a photo from 1935 showing Israel Singer at left and Isaac Singer at right. Israel Singer was born in 1893. His younger brother Isaac Singer 9 years later in 1902. Israel and Isaac Singer also had a sister, Esther, who born in 1891, was older than both. Due to her marriage, Esther got the name Wrightman. She was a writer as well. In 1936, Israel Singer wrote, "My brother has been and is a success." His Brothers Ashkenazi is now appearing in English through Knopf Publishers. In 1978, Isaac Singer became a success too when he won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Israel Singer's book, Brothers Ashkenazi, is about the rise and the fall of industrial Lodz. Singer calls this Lodz a Jewish Lodz of Jerusalem on Polish soil. What was the coming Lodz of the early 20th century? In 1820, there lived only 767 people in Lodz. And in 1913, more than 500,000 people lived in Lodz. So within 100 years, the population grew for over 600 times. For Lodz, this development was an explosion of population, which became, behind Warsaw, the second largest town in Poland. Singer's novel, The Brothers Ashkenazi, shows this history. As Janet Hedda says, the story begins with the migration of German weavers to Poland. After the Napoleonic Wars and their settlement in what would become the center of a vast textile industry and a rapidly expanding Jewish population, which came to be called the Manchester of Poland. Together Brothers Ashkenazi is a large-scale historical novel, which was a tribal neighborhood of Poles, Jews, and Germans, which refers to a coexistence of these three national groups, and Shamus speaks of a multinational phenomenon of Polish-German-Jewish relations. When in 1820, there were 767 people in Łódź. 2/3 of them were Poles, 1/3 of them were Jews, and there were no Germans in 1831. However, the majority of inhabitants were Germans. 3,500 Germans lived in a town of 5,000 inhabitants. The first Germans came in 1822 to Łódź, after Napoleon's wars, when Łódź belonged to Congress Poland. In 1913, however, every second person from Łódź was a Pole, while there were 75,000 Germans and 170,000 Jews. So, in 1913, the Jews made up 1/3 of the population. The center of Jewish economic life in Poland was Łódź. Only up to 7% of the Łódź population belonged to the bourgeoisie in charge of industry, commerce, and finance. The half of industrialists were Germans, the other half were Jews, while only few Poles were owners of industries. However, the majority of workers were Poles. But there were also many German and also many Jewish workers as well. When Singer called Łódź a Jewish Łódź or Jerusalem on Polish soil, Singer said that Łódź was a Jewish creation, a Jewish city built in Poland. Is the Singer's view correct? Krzysztof Woźniak refers to the dispute about the emergence of industrial Łódź between Polish, German, and Jewish authors. With the Singer, other Jewish writers agreed that Łódź was a Jewish creation. German authors, however, claimed that Germans had created Łódź. But according to Polish scholars, Łódź was created by the Poles. Woźniak reports, the German writers stressed the extent and the importance of the pioneering act of their fellow countrymen. The Jewish authors underlined the merits of Jews as initiators of the textile workshop system. And for the Polish historians, the question for the emergence of Łódź was also the question for the beginnings of capitalism in Poland, and whether this capitalism emerged by itself or if it was imported from abroad. So how can Singer say that industrial Łódź was a Jewish Łódź, a Jerusalem on Polish soil? What does Singer tell us about the role of Jews in Łódź and about their relations with Germans and Poles? Now it is time to tell the story Brothers Ashkenazi. We hear from Mendel Friederbaum, a Jew who learns from German weavers how to weave. Then he wants to become a member of the German Weavers Guild. So he puts down his kaftan and shaves off his beard. but the German weavers refused his application. The Polish authorities, however, allowed him to open a weaving workshop. Singer remarks, soon Jewish weaving looms rattled in the old town. At the beginning, the Jews stayed in their own quarter. It seemed that the houses were topped up overnight. Little by little, Jews moved from their narrow quarter to the wealthy district. From the countryside, many Jews come to Lodz. Long enough they had endured the cruelty of their aristocratical landlords. These Jews started to hire German weavers who could not afford their own workshops. The German weavers prepare a Jewish employer because they have to kiss a German employer's hand 2 times a day. And when a Jewish employer catches a German worker with some wool in his pocket, he does not beat him as a German employer would. He just demands to put the wool back. We also hear that Solomon David Press, a Jew as well, wants to buy a large estate from the Ashkenasi family. Price tells the family that he will open a glass factory and gets the land. However, Price builds a new suburb of Lodz called Lodz. When the Ashkenazis find out, they go to court. The Polish judges rule in favor of the Jew. Price travels to England where he buys machines and finds an engineer and a chemist. On his return to Lodz, he opens a weaving mill with mechanical looms. As engineer and chemist want to work on Sabbath, Price hires only Polish and German workers who can work on Sabbath as well. So Jewish workers get no job. The German weavers who do not have mechanical looms are angry about the Price factor, calling it a Jewish instrument of the devil. They burn the factory down. Then the Germans go to the Jewish quarter where they destroy, steal, and rape. Soon, Price opens his factory again. Then the German weaving masters get loads from Polish banks to buy mechanical looms as well. Singer writes about Heinz Hunze, the German owner of a big weaving factory, who had immigrated with only 2 looms from Saxonia. In his factory, Hunze is the absolute king. But who is Hunze's sales representative? No. Fine. Please. But who is Hunze's sales representative? This is Abraham Hirsch Ashkenazi, the leader of the Jewish community and father of the 2 brothers Ashkenazi. When Hunze is angry at a former staff member who has dared to open a factory of his own, Hunze screams, "I beat him to death." Ashkenazi replies, "Oh no, Mr. Hunze, the best would be to reach an agreement with him. It is written that shalom, peace, is the foundation of the world." And Ashkenazi wants to tell Hunze the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa. Hostility led to the destruction of Jerusalem. So, Singer mentions the contributions of Germans and Poles, but the project of industrial Lodz is guided by Jews who have been living in Poland for centuries. They seek for technical innovation and human understanding, shalom. Samus tells us about two opposing views of Butch. Samus says that by his wife, Raymond's name for Butch, the promised land, had an ironic note. Raymond did not show a promised land, but the apocalyptic vision of a city Moloch that eats man. In 1911, Zygmunt Backiewicz called Butch an evil city, even saying that Butch had taken its name from a Polish village and gave shelter to Poland's enemies, thereby referring to Germans and Jews. Another view of Butch had author Kulishinsky. He said that Butch is a big, proud castle, the sign of creative work, and the youngest child of the Polish good Mother Earth. And in a theatrical play, Kulishinsky let the city of Butch say, "I am your good motherland, your provider and good fairy. I am Miss Butch." What does the singer himself think of Butch? Is the singer proud of the Jewish Butch, or is he critical of it? In the singer's novel, there is a man named Nissan. Nissan's father is a rabbi, and Nissan is a student in his father's school. Nissan says that Moses just invented the Bible, that Moses never received the Torah on Mount Sinai. So Nissan has to leave his father's house and becomes just a weaver and a follower of Karl Marx, carrying the book Das Kapital always with him. Singer writes, as his father was convinced that the Torah must be passed on, so Nissan was convinced that Nissan had been called to pass on the new Torah. During the First World War, Nissan meets a Butch industrialist in Russia. Nissan says, "Go on with your production. Soon everything will be taken over by us." So Nissan is for production, but this production is for the workers' benefit as well. Nissan resembles the young Israel singer whose father was a rabbi too. Israel singer wrote about his own life. At the age of 18, I decided that I did not want to be a freelance man, and I gave up my theological studies. Singer added, "I wanted to have a modern education and proceeded to acquire one by taking casual lessons with inexpensive private tutors while earning my livelihood by doing all kinds of odd jobs." Israel singer left home and visited his parents, clean-shaven and dressed in modern clothes. So probably Israel singer shared, at least at one point in his life, the opinion of Nissan, which should go on, but the direction of Shalom, giving real benefit to the workers. The program after the destruction of the prize factory is not the last one in Lodz. Sorry. No. 7. The program after the destruction of the prize factory is not the last one in Lodz, reported by Singer. When the wages are cut, Polish workers begin to strike. They go to the factory of Frida Baum, screaming, "Let us hang this damned Jew, Frida Baum." But in front of the factory, there are soldiers shooting into the crowd. The next day, a pogrom starts. The workers shout, "Now we look after the Jews. We go to ballot." Soldiers are sent from Warsaw. Upon arrival, the soldiers hear that there is a pogrom. So the military does not stop the pogrom immediately, but wait some days till the pogrom gets worse and worse. At the end, a beggar sings this sad song. Heal from the scare, heal from the grief, which came to the Jews of Lodz. In May, you people there were the looting going. They raced like mad dogs. Day and night they came in crowds, hurting woman and man and child, coming in their way. O Lord of heaven and earth, stretch out your merciful hand. Save your dispersed flock, and guide us to the Holy Land. Singer does not say in which year there was such a pogrom. Historian George Tomaszewski, however, reports that in May 1892, there was a workers' protest in Lodz, lasting 1 week, with the army moving in against it. And near the end, there were attacks on Jewish shops and pubs. Now we know about Lodz of Congress, Poland, before the First World War. But what about Lodz of New Poland? After the First World War, Singer tells us that Lodz is ruined. The warehouses are full, but there are no customers. Neither the Jews get work in the factories, nor get they social welfare. When Jewish guys apply for hard labor like road construction, the employment officers shout, "Out with you, Moshes, no matter if you starve to death." So Jewish youth starts to flee. Singer remarks, to America, Argentina, Palestine. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, there is an exodus of Jews from the country where their ancestors settled 1,000 years ago. The Poles who observe this exodus do not know whether they shall therefore cry. Singer writes, Lodz resembled an amputated part of the body. It flashed a last time in agony, before the worms sucked its last lifeblood. The elixir of life, as Singer calls the Lodz dream, consisting of prosperity and skill, has disappeared. So, according to Singer, the Lodz tribal neighborhood is already at the end of the 20s in danger. Do historians agree with Singer's story? Ludwig Malgorzata says that the textile industry of Lodz was hit by a crisis in 1929. The result was collapse of the economy there. In this situation, there was, in fact, a strong emigration from Lodz. What is the last scene of the book? When Max Ashkenasi, the former king of Lodz, dies, the whole of Lodz comes to his funeral. In the chemistry, wind blows dust in everybody's face. The funeral guests complain, "Sand, what we have built here was all built on sand." Number 9, please. Okay. In 1937, the novel Brothers Ashkenazi was adapted into a play and was staged at Yiddish Art Theater in New York. Till today, there is no Brothers Ashkenazi movie. Let us hope that soon we can watch Brothers Ashkenazi on screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Soonim, for your paper on this very interesting and important Yiddish novel.